Welcome back to Small Caps, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kerry Stevenson, and I've asked Siobhan Lancaster, Managing Director of 92 Energy. ASX code is 92E, E for energy, of course. They're a uranium explorer up there in the Athabasca Basin. And for those of you that don't know, this is one of the highest grade areas, I think globally. Siobhan will correct me if I'm wrong. But I've asked Siobhan to come back because their GMZ Discovery that we spoke about last time is really coming up trumps. So Siobhan, welcome back to Small Caps. Good to see you.
Thanks very much for having me, Kerry.
Now, just do a brief overview of 92 Energy, and then let's get into the guts of what we're talking about today.
Yeah, sure. So 92 Energy, we've been listed for a year and a half on the ASX. We started with the premise that we were looking for uranium in the highest grade uranium district globally, which is the Athabasca Basin in Canada. And we started with 3 projects. We now have 5 projects, and we've been concentrating recently on our main project, which is the Gemini project, where we had a discovery on our 4th drill hole ever as a company. So we've been drilling that discovery out nicely and getting some fantastic results.
That's the GMZ discovery, correct?
Correct, yes.
In the Gemini zone.
In the Gemini project, yes.
The Gemini project, okay. And we're going to go over all the project, but let's just go to the GMZ discovery and what are the results, what are they coming out at, and why. I know you're getting pretty excited. Why you've got a big smile on your face and you're like, it's coming up trumps. So talk to us about that and why this is great for shareholders.
Yeah, sure. So we're currently in the midst of doing a 6,000 metre drill program at our Gemini project, which is right on the edge of the basin. And we really went there with the aim to search for a basement-hosted uranium deposit. And we're currently, at the moment, drilling into the GMZ. So our first drill hole ever was our 4th drill hole of as a company, and that intersected 5.5 metres of uranium.
Now, is that good or bad?
In the last program,
sorry to interrupt you, but for those that don't know, is 5.5 metres good or bad? Like, explain that to us.
That's a great starting place. So 5.5 metres of 0.12% uranium is already higher grades than the average grade mined globally throughout the world. So that was our first drill hole at the GMZ. Then we went and did a follow-up program, which we just completed in winter. And we intersected 17 metres at 0.38% uranium. So again, the grades are 3 times as high or 4 times as high, and the intercepts are 3 times wider. So I guess what this is showing is that it's improving with each drill program. And this recent result that we put out is 41.8 metres at 0.5% EU308. So that's a U308 equivalent. So just to give you context, 0.5% EU308 is 5,000 ppm, and it's significantly higher than any of the grades of Australian or Namibian uranium companies. And it's also probably the best hole to date drilled within the Athabasca Basin this year, at a new greenfields exploration discovery. So it's a pretty significant hole. It has 6 metres of 2% uranium. So just to give you context, 2% uranium, we consider 1% high grade. This is 2% uranium. So it's double the grade. 6 metres of that gives us some tremendous confidence about what we're drilling. So not only are the intercepts getting higher grade, they're getting thicker, wider, closer to surface. It's all really moving in the right direction. And it's really the story that we want to tell. We're systematic in our approach, and we'll continue to be systematic. And, so far, our theories are proving correct, which is great.
Just earlier in this conversation, you said basement hosted. Just explain basement hosted to our audience and what that means.
Sure. So there's two different types of deposits in the Athabasca Basin. One is unconformity. So that's a deposit hosted in the sandstone, and right at the unconformity, they also sort of seep down into the basement as well. And the second type is basement hosted. So we're looking at a basement hosted. It's surrounded by more competent rocks. So you're not dealing with the sandstone. So the economics of it tend to be better because it's more amenable to traditional mining methods than what the unconformity hosted deposits are. So there's been like many examples, for example, Rabbit Lake and McLean, they had grades very similar to what we're seeing at the GMZ, and they were mine deposits in the Athabasca Basin. So they're a common type of deposit, which has been mined in the basement. And in fact, probably more basement hosted deposits have been mined in the basement than in the basin than unconformity related ones.
And so, right, you said you're going to be doing 6,000 meter drill program. How far through are you of that drill program? What's the next steps? And is all your focus, you start off with 3 projects, you've got 5. I want to figure out what's the strategy and how you manage all those projects, because the excitement is here at GMZ. You're saying that it's, it's good, it's strong, you're doing it very systematically. Is that where all the focus is at the moment?
Yeah, so great question. You would have seen that we actually just recently raised $8.7 million in flow-through funding. So that has enabled us to really take a look at our strategy going forward. And we're currently in the process of looking at the GMZ and determining whether we'll expand that program within this program that we're currently doing at the moment based on the results that we've had, which have been so positive. But we'll also be looking at other programs. So we're moving forward our Tower project, which is only 10 kilometres from Cigar Lake. That's one of those unconformity related targets that we'll be looking at. So that's a fantastic program that we'll be looking at moving forward as well. And of course, we'll be doing other bits and pieces on, for example, our Powerline project, which is a similar sort of basement hosted strategy around the edge of the basin as well. So we've got some great projects.
Yeah, I know. And so I want to get a visual, even though we don't have a map up. I want to get a visual. You said that one of them's close to Cigar Lake. How far away is GMZ from Cigar Lake? How far away are each of these projects? And what's the program?
So the thing with the GMZ and the Gemini project is that it is perfectly positioned in the basin. So it's basically right on the edge of the basin, on the eastern side of the Athabasca Basin. It sits between, it's only 27 kilometres from MacArthur River, which, as you know, is one of the highest grade mines in the world. And it's very close to Key Lake as well. So it's right where all that infrastructure in the basin is located, where all the mills are, and in the heart of the Athabasca Basin. The Tower project is also located very well in the basin. So it's not on the edge of the basin, it's slightly west of the edge of the basin, but that's a lot closer to Cigar Lake. So that's only 10 kilometres from Cigar Lake. So that's really an elephant country, the Tower project. I mean, so we've got a lot of good choices here, but obviously the GMZ is our focus at the moment because it's really coming up with the goods. So we're going to continue drilling there. We've had some fantastic results. And as I said, we're looking at potentially extending that program beyond the 6,000 metres that we've already suggested to the market that we'll be doing.
Given GMZ is putting such a big smile on your face and you've got 5 projects, would you consider divesting of any of the projects, or are they all your favourite children?
No, I mean, look, we've definitely got 5 very good projects. We wouldn't have picked any of them up if we didn't think they were all very good. And that was all based on that prospectivity mapping study that we did initially when we started 92 Energy. But of course, you always look to rank those projects as best you can. I think at the moment, I would say our top 3 projects in order would be GMZ, Tower, and then Powerline. Our main focus this year is the GMZ with a bit of drilling on Tower as well.
Now, you also said that you've got some flow-through share funding in, so are you well funded to do everything that you need to do? You don't need to go back to the market and say, can we have some more funding?
No, we're absolutely well funded until midway through next year. The thing about the flow-through was we were able to raise a lot more money than we would have been able to raise just had we used the Australian 15% capacity. So the way the flow-through works is it's Canadian tax incentive, which allows you to basically raise more money than what you would otherwise normally be able to raise. And uranium has recently been listed as a critical mineral by the Canadian government, which actually increased the amount of money that we could raise. So shareholders have done very well from this flow-through raise, and it's really filled the bank, and will allow us to really progress some of those fantastic projects that we've got at the moment, particularly the GMZ.
Now, I will come back to the projects in a minute, but Siobhan, I also know that you understand the uranium sector pretty well, and I've spoken about this in the past, the energy crisis. What do you see for the future of uranium? We know that in the past it had a bit of a run and then it got sidetracked for a while. But given the challenges with renewables and the carbon emissions, etc., and ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know it already, uranium is 0 carbon emissions. What's the outlook, do you think? What are you hearing?
I mean, I think that nuclear has never had a brighter future than it has right now. We have a really important role to play in decarbonisation globally. The IEA just came out and said that nuclear needs to increase by at least 50% if we want to achieve our decarbonisation goals. I mean, double, I think is what it said. So these are some really significant increases on the demand side long term. But if you just look at the demand short term, we've got fantastic fundamentals. There's a big gap between supply and demand that's emerging. And the future for uranium really has never been brighter. We've got Sprott in the market who's bought all that excess inventory that was floating around the market. That's all come out of the market now. There's this decoupling of the market at the moment with the situation in Ukraine and the impact that's had on the purchase of Russian enriched uranium. And so there's a lot of different sort of geopolitical things at play here at the moment. And, my theory on uranium, the future has never been brighter, really. I think the fundamentals are really strong and I'm extremely bullish. And I do believe the uranium market is going to decouple from the broader market at some point.
Oh, that's an interesting comment. So the rest of the market could be a little bit, excuse me, it's not COVID. The rest of the market could be a little wobbly, but you're saying that the uranium market could decouple and take off and be a bit stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely the possibility of that. It happened in the last cycle. Uranium tends to play to its own drum. So I definitely foreshadow that will happen. Of course, this broader market influence is impacting every commodity and every sector out there. But, markets can change pretty dramatically, as we've seen in uranium before, and it does have the tendency, once it moves fast.
It does. I totally agree with you. Now, your share price has held up pretty well. And in the Athabasca Basin, where there are some other players, do you talk to each other? Do you share data? What's it like working up there?
I mean, the Athabasca Basin is like working really anywhere. You know your neighbours, everyone that's working in the area. Everyone's very collegiate. So, yeah, we definitely talk with everyone. I feel like very fortunate that, yes, we are the newcomers, but we've got some tremendous experience in our team. Our technical team has so much experience and they're so well respected in the basin, and shout out to Kanan and his team for doing a tremendous job. These results are absolutely incredible.
Do you think the market's recognised how significant these results are?
Look, I would say the market has been a little bit asleep on them.
Yeah.
I think the market will wake up. As I said, this intercept is the best intercept that any uranium explorer has had in the basin this year in a new discovery. By far, it's the best intercept. So the market should wake up and pay attention, because this is a significant new discovery. It's near surface. It's got some grade behind it. This 2%, 6 meters at 2%, this gives us a lot of confidence that there's potentially a high grade core in there. So The way these deposits work is they're structurally controlled, and they tend to have these high grade cores in them where they're very small volumetrically, but really add substantially to a resource. So we're really on the hunt for that high grade core and mineralisation at the moment. And those cores can be 5% plus grade. So it'd be a fantastic result if we can find that. But even still, on its own, the way the mineralisation is, the grade it's at, it's already a very, very positive story for the company.
This might be a really dumb question, but it just came into my mind. Some people might think, how do you mine uranium?
You mine uranium? Well, there's traditional open pit methods of mining uranium, and then there's ISR. So ISR is in situ leach recovery, and that would be, for example, Boss. They have their Honeymoon deposit. And that's an ISR. So 42% of the world's uranium comes out of Kazakhstan. That's all in situ leach recovery mined. And the rest of the world is sort of open pit. So
42%, sorry to interrupt you, 42% comes out of Kazakhstan.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's hope there's nothing that goes wrong over there, because that's a lot. That's almost half of the uranium supply. And I think the contracts are quite long, aren't they, Siobhan? Like once you enter into a contract, I know you're still an explorer, but
so look, utilities tend to enter into long-term contracts, and those long-term contracts can be for many years. There's sort of a short-term market, a mid-term market, and a long-term market. So we really pay attention to the mid to long-term contract market as opposed to the spot market, which tends to have a lot of influence by financial players.
Right.
So those mid to long-term contract market prices are moving up at the moment, which is what you want to see.
That's what you want to see. All right. So what do you think is going to excite shareholders? More news coming out of GMZ. Why should they get excited about you guys at the moment? This is, by the way, this is not the 3 reasons at the moment. I just want to know what's...
Look, I think we just need to keep doing what we're doing. We have proven that we have excellent technical capabilities. Okay. We've been improving each step of the way. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing, and the market will recognise that at some point. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later, because these results are excellent and they really should be recognised. As I said, it's not often that you drill the best intercept sort of globally in a greenfields uranium exploration play. And that's what we've done here. And the market does need to take note at some point of that.
Are you listening, really, ladies and gentlemen? Are you listening? This is the best intercept. Did you say globally?
Yeah, look, I believe so. It certainly is in the basin, but given that the basin is the highest grades in the world, I would suggest that globally, yeah, potentially. So for a greenfields discovery, I'm not talking for one that's already got a resource and getting delineated.
Now I can see why you've got such a big smile on your face. Congratulations, because when you first started, as you say, you only listed 18 months ago, and to get these sorts of results is a massive thing. Has it surprised you to the upside? I mean, you say that you've got great ground, et cetera, but these results and getting the best intercept, has that surprised you?
I mean, you always just want to keep improving, right? So that's the aim of the game, is to keep improving, and we'll keep trying to improve and do the best that we can for shareholders. Has it surprised us? Well, it's a happy surprise.
Yeah, very happy surprise. Well, we're running out of time, and look, it's a great outcome, and I do hope that the market recognises the fact that you are literally onto a really interesting discovery in that GMZ area. So keep on going, and if you get some more strong results, just give me a call and say, I need to come back on. We've got an even better intercept. We've gone up again.
Sure.
But just tell our beautiful audience out there, what are the 3 reasons that they should be sitting up? I mean, I think we've told it once, twice, 3 times, that great intercept. But what do you think the 3 reasons are that they should be taking notice of 92 Energy right now?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is we are in the prime location in the Athabasca Basin. It is the highest grade uranium district globally, and we're only 26 kilometres from MacArthur River, sorry. So, that's a good reason. It's a fantastic jurisdiction to be in. I think the second reason is the future is bright for uranium. The fundamentals are fantastic for uranium, and I think nuclear has a tremendous future and a tremendous ability to play a key role in decarbonising our world. And the third reason is the drill results coming out of the GMZ. They really are tremendous, and the market should pay attention and take note. It's not every day that a company drills 42 metres at 0.5% uranium, including 6 metres at 2% EU308. So these are tremendous results, and the market should pay attention to that.
What a great way to finish. Market, are you paying attention? 92 Energy doing the drilling, coming up with the results, putting a smile on the managing director's face, and making sure that shareholder value continues. Thanks so much for joining me today on Small Cap Siobhan, and we'll see you again very soon.
Thanks, Kerry.